Good morning, class 5. How are you all doing? I guess you all are doing great, good, fine, healthy, doing good. Okay, without wasting time. So let's come to this chapter on SSC, page 65. The chapter number is 11, and that is going to be conservation. How to conserve our environment. That is conservation. So that's number 11. So we have finished number 11. So now only the Indian government, our rights and duties, and United Nations universally celebrated days. 4 chapters left. Okay. So we are nearly done. So let's go and pick up the pace and let's try to finish it accordingly. So how to conserve our environment? What is conservation? To preserve. Conserve is to preserve, to keep it going so that it does not finish off, exemptly. It should not just go down. Our environment is made up of living and non-living things, and human beings are dependent on these for their survival. The biosphere. However, due to the misuse of these, imbalance has been created. To regain and maintain this balance in nature, we need to conserve our environment and contribute towards reducing the environmental loss or degradation. The grade of the environment should not go down. Like, we have to save that. Out of that, for saving, like that we had in the chapter before, the pollution of the soil, we have to control. We have to control the smoke from domestic sources, cutting trees. Then we have the water pollution, so much of poisonous gases, all has to be controlled. During this pandemic, have you seen the season, the atmosphere, the weather, how nice it has become? There's no pollution, the air is so clear. What is conservation? Conservation is the protection of the natural environment, which includes plants, animals, habitats, and natural resources. It means prevention of loss, waste, damage, destruction to the environment. The main thing about waste, if I talk, is about water. We should not waste water. Water is very much needed and it cannot be wasted. Okay? So, one thing of natural resources is water. We have to save it. Today there is a great need for conversation because we are facing several environmental problems. There are many examples of this. The water levels in the oceans are rising rapidly, and many islands such as the Andaman Nicobar are under the threat of being completely submerged in a few years. Huge chunks of ice known as glaciers are melting too quickly in Antarctica because of global warming caused by pollution. Forest cover is fast disappearing and landslides are common. The main cause behind this problem is the human beings are consuming natural resources at a much quicker pace than they can be replenished. In doing this, we are polluting the earth and making way for more destruction of nature. Let us learn about the ways in which we can conserve the environment. Glaciers are melting means it's very dangerous. Water level is rising. The Andaman Nicobar Islands will get submerged, isn't it? And under threat, and it's going to create a lot of issues, and you might face a lot of problem because the water will not go anywhere. All that ice will come down, melt, again it has to go up and become ice. But if it can't become ice, how will it happen? So that's all the pollution which is happening. Controlling overpopulation, controlling of this overpopulation of births. Population is increased at a fast pace, much faster than any of us can imagine, leading to overpopulation. This increase in population creates pressure on natural resources such as soil, water, coal, natural gas, etc., leading to their degradation. Okay. The only way in which all this can be checked is by human beings becoming conscious of this problem and checking excessive consumerism, consuming less, according to your availability, use it. So much of children and people are being born every day. Children are being born, childs are being born every day. So it's getting overpopulated. People are getting, people are more, resources are less, and they're using more resources and not keeping them for the future, which can be a great problem, isn't it? Another major issue is of concern is pollution. As I just now said, pollution which needs to be controlled. We studied about pollution in the previous chapter. In the following paragraphs, we learn about some of the ways by which pollution can be reduced. We can bring down pollution to a certain level. There are two kinds of waste, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. I had done this with you, right? Yes, I have done this chapter with you. Today we are going to do this chapter is done. How to conserve our environment. I remember I had read this to you. I had explained you about recycling things, how to recycle, buying recycled products. Yes, we have done this. We'll come to we'll come to page 114. That's in the next video. We'll come to 100. No, we can carry on now. I have 4 minutes. 114, the Indian government. What is this Indian government all about? Those chapters, all the chapters which are done from that side to 1 to 11, rest which have been done, you please get those done for your homework. And rest, if you are not able to you solve all of them, you will do the equatorial forest, then you have the temperate zone worlds, the hot deserts, the temperate zone, the frigid zone, our environment, pollution, how to conserve environment. So these all homeworks have to be ready. As many chapters are finished, get your homeworks ready. After that, when I'll post, then you will check it up with that and correct. If you have any corrections, you can correct it. So we'll come to page 114 now. The Indian government. I won't give it to you in a very huge manner so that you'll get jumbled up. I'll give it in a very short time. A government is a person who's going to govern, a group of people who are going to govern a place in a very systematic way with rules and regulations. We know there are 3 levels of government in India: central government, the state government, and the local self-government in the villages, the panchayat. You have read about local self-governments in class 4. We will study about the central government and the state government in the class. The central government is responsible for the whole country. It has offices in India, capital New Delhi. All the states have their own governments. Their main offices are in the capital of each state. India has 29 states and 7 union territories, but it's become now 8 union territories, 8 or 9 union territories. Okay. The central government is the main government, which is in Delhi, which rules the full country, the majority party who wins. The central government makes laws and puts these laws into force for the whole country. Parliament is the law-making body of the central government. Parliament consists of 2 houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The Lok Sabha is the lower house of the parliament and consists of the representatives elected by the people of India. The Lok Sabha is elected by the people of India, the lower house. The members regularly to make new laws or amend the earlier laws. The Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament and its members are not directly elected by people. We don't elect them. Some members are elected by the members of the state legislative assemblies and some are nominated by the President of India. The members nominated by the President are distinguished people in fields of art, science, literature or social science. Members of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are called members of the parliament. Clear? I will give explanation again. The central government is the total in charge of the full country. Now they have got 2 houses in the parliament. One is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha is totally elected by us, which we elect, the party people, which we elect, the people who win and go up. Simple basic understanding. I will not make it too difficult for you. And the Rajya Sabha is elected by the people, not us, by different people who are in the upper house, or who are in charge of the country. Like the president, he is the main person after before the prime minister. The president has the most powerful, he is the most powerful in India, but the prime minister is elected by the people. Okay, so he will decide the people who are really highly educated, in the distinguished people in the fields of art, science and literature and social service, so that they can try to help it rule the country. The president is the head of the government of India. The president is elected by the members of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha and the state legislative assemblies. He or she exercises his or her powers on the advice of the prime minister and her council of ministers. The president is also the supreme commander of the defense forces. The defense forces are totally under control him. The union territories are totally under his control. Okay. Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Now the President appoints the leader of the majority party. President will appoint. Or the single largest party in the Lok Sabha is the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the real head of the Indian government. He or she chooses his Council of Ministers to help her in the task of governing the country. These ministers look after departments such as defense, health, finance and home affairs. He comes in with his team. Okay. And the state government, what does? The system of this government in the state is similar to the central government. Again, people vote. Each state government is responsible for making laws for the state and putting these laws into force. The CM is going to do it. All states have a lower house called the Legislative Assembly in the Vidhan Sabha or the Vidhan Sabha. They have their houses as well. Some states of India also have an upper house called the Legislative Council or the Vidhan Sabha. Vidhan Parishad. It's a legislative council is called the Vidhan Parishad and the legislative assembly is called the Vidhan Parishad. Basic information. Don't go deep into it. Governor. The governor is the head of a state. I'll come back in the next video.